What would you say to somebody who's listening right now and is in that place where they are feeling a tremendous amount of shame and feeling very lost, whether it is because of very similar life experiences that you've had, or maybe it's somebody who's feeling a lot of shame because their marriage blew up, or they got a health diagnosis and they're having a lot of trouble really just getting through the day, or they've really made some terrible decisions in their life. They're beating themselves over the things in the past. What do you want to say to that person about how to really think about where they're at and how to shift their relationship with themselves?
Yeah. For me, as a writer, it all begins with language. Often when we talk to each other, we use fluff language to get by. Oh, how's the weather? How about them Patriots? What's going on? How's so and so? And sometimes we don't answer that question. We say yes, but it's just a muscle memory. How are you doing? Great, good. And I think giving yourself permission to break the norm of hiding and using language to obfuscate and just say, I'm not okay. Or changing the question, when was the last time you felt joy? Now you're in a different linguistic space. And you realize that people actually really hunger for that, but they don't want to burden you with that. And we don't have the words to open the doors. We only have the words to move outside the doors. And so when the words change, so disruptions in linguistic patterns, which is what poetry and novels do, right? Because they're disruptions. We don't pick up a novel to confirm what we know. We pick it up to learn something new. In a way, we're disrupting ourselves.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I never even thought about that. But you're right. Because I didn't pick up The Emperor of Gladness because I thought I knew everything was in there. I picked it up to be transported and, to use your word, to disrupt my day-to-day life and open myself up to something different.
Yeah.
Is there some recommendation that you would have if you're trying to disrupt the language you use around yourself and you find yourself saying, I'm not enough, it's never going to work out, I'm not good enough?
Yeah. Well, my very rudimentary practice when I was a young poet, and I still do this, is just copy down your favorite poems and your favorite texts, because now you're in someone else's head. So I would do that with Federico Garcia Lorca, Toni Morrison, Mary Oliver, and when I'm stuck and when my language is running my life and it's toxic, I can just take another poet and I would just open up the book, put it in my journal and just copy and feel, that's the beautiful thing about language, is that it's the most democratic tool we have because everyone can use it.
I want to make sure that as the person's listening to you or they're watching on YouTube, that I highlight this tool that you spoke about, and I want to expand it a little because you gave us this offering that I think is really important to make sure the person, as you're listening, that you really get that you could do this.
Yeah.
You said that, if you're really feeling a sense of shame, or if you are using your own words against yourself, I am not good enough, I have failed, I will never amount to anything, I'm not smart, whatever those words are that you beat yourself up with, you said one tool is that you would open up a line from one of your favorite poems, and then you would write that line and trace those letters, and you start to then basically borrow those words in order to override and to teach yourself a new language. And one of the things I want to say that I think people do instinctually is a lot of people save quotes they see online.
Yeah.
And that's another way to do exactly what you're talking about. That if you are stuck with really self-defeating language and you know you're beating yourself up, if there are famous quotes, if there are lines from a book, if there is something that has lifted you up or you've saved in a little folder somewhere on your phone, you could do exactly what you just said, which is write that out every day. And as you're tracing the shape of those letters, really imagine that those are the words that you say to yourself.
Yeah. It's like secular prayer,
Yes.
right? It's a form of prayer that you choose. You get to curate a kind of bibliography or Bible for yourself, right? And you don't have to be religious to do it. And in fact, this is what the early monks did. They would trace and replicate Psalms and the Bible by hand, right? And so that was kind of a meditative practice. And also visualization, imagine the people around you, right? Using the language, even just saying that, I hope my sister has a good day, recenters us, because in Buddhism, we have this idea, in Buddhist psychology, we have this idea called sequential thinking.
What is that?
In Buddhist psychology, we do not believe that you actually feel two things at once. One can only hold one emotion at a time. So it's like holding a ball. If you're holding the ball of hatred and whether it's for others or self-hatred, the only way to have another thought is to put down that ball. You can't just grab another, right? You have to put down that ball and then hold something else. And in meditation practice, we usually do a check-in with ourselves. And often, particularly nowadays, I sit down and something in me said, this is going to be a bad session. I can't do it. My knees hurt. My ankles hurt. There's too much going on in the world. That email is bothering me. I really got to get back, to that. There's so much. And it's all about, I'm holding my own suffering. And what we do in Buddhism is that we start to displace our suffering with other people's suffering. So we start to think about the people closest to us, and then we radiate outwards. Oh, my brother's having a bad day today. I remember now. He's really struggling. My brother works retail at a sporting goods store. And, it's wage work. Sometimes it's hard. People yell at him. He goes, it's a very stressful job. And so I'm holding him. And all of a sudden, I don't know why this is. But when we hold our suffering, we suffer more. When we hold someone else's suffering, we have compassion. It's amazing. Why? I would love someone much smarter than I to figure that out. But that's always the case. It's very hard to continue to suffer when you're holding someone else's suffering, because it's something like love starts to come out of that. And some days I can't do it. Some days I'm like, I just don't have enough to go there. But just even saying that word, the phrase, I hope, the people in my community can find safety. I'm going to work towards that. I'm going to work towards securing their safety. And then you start to, all of a sudden, you visualize what you can do, how you can volunteer, how you can help. And all of a sudden, you remove from yourself. And when you come back, because it's all cycle, you come back to yourself and you say, gosh, I don't know how to pick up that ball anymore. I see it. I see self-hatred. I see envy. I see bitterness. I see self-loathing. It's all there, but I can't really pick it up. Before, it was stuck. It was glued to my palms. But for some reason, moving outward has cleansed, and now I can't pick it up if I wanted to.
It's so effective and it's so simple. As you were talking and explaining this, I just did it.
Say more.
So my mom and dad just lost a very, very good friend.
Yeah.
And it was very sudden and really tragic thing that happened. And the second you started talking about your sister, I thought, oh, I hope my mom and dad are having an okay day today. I hope that they are surrounded by friends today. I hope that their heartache is getting the support, and then I thought, oh, I need to call them as soon as we're done talking. And everything that was self-centered disappeared from my mind. And there was this big expansion that happened. And as you're listening or watching, I want you to think about somebody that you love, that you really do hope with all of your heart that they are having a good day, that they are getting the support that they need. And if you truly step into this invitation, I think you will feel exactly what Ocean's talking about, that somehow there was something you were holding inside yourself, even in the subconscious.
Yeah.
But when you direct that attention and focus outward, something expands and lightens inside of you.
Because you can only hold one thing.